Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with potato and parsnip gratin. That's right, despite their unique and delicious flavor and totally fun to pronounce name, parsnips have really never caught on as a popular side dish option. But don't worry, your old buddy Chef John has a plan. We're going to hide these inside a delicious looking potato gratin, and then our friends and family are going to enjoy parsnips without even knowing it. Until of course we tell them later after they eat it when it's too late for them to object. But anyway, let's get started. And the first thing we're going to do is peel our parsnips. And there they are. I usually use 2 for this recipe, but they were kind of small, so I got 1 regular and 2 small ones. And we're going to go ahead and actually peel these twice. Once to remove the skin, and then we're actually going to use the peeler to slice the parsnips for the gratin. And that's going to give us beautiful, nice thin slices. All right, just like that. So that's going to be one of the secrets to this recipe. But for now, we're just going to peel them. And I'm going to add those to my bowl of cold water that also is holding my peeled Yukon Gold potatoes. This will work with russet also, but I really like the Yukon Gold for this. But anyway, we're going to peel our potatoes and our parsnips, and then it's ready to prep our pan, or baking dish in this case. And we're going to prep that with some garlic and some butter. So I'm going to toss in a little bit of finely chopped garlic, along with some melted butter. And I'm going to go ahead and spread that all over the bottom and the sides a little bit. And once our baking dish has been thoroughly garlic buttered, we're going to go ahead and start building the layers. So I'm going to take one of our 3 potatoes, and I'm going to give it a nice thin slicing on the Japanese vegetable slicer, also known as a mandolin. And by the way, don't be an idiot like me. Use the guide so you don't cut off your fingertips. You're going to need those. So anyway, we're going to carefully slice one of the 3 potatoes. We're going to arrange that in an even layer over the bottom. Once that's done, we're going to season with salt and pepper. And I'm a big believer that when you're making these layered gratins, you really want to season each layer individually. That's usually a winning strategy. Okay, and once we've seasoned that first layer of potatoes, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle in a few thyme leaves. I'm just picking those right off the stem, not chopping them. And you want to be careful, not too many. You can overpower a gratin like this with too much herb. So just a few leaves here and there. And then after the thyme, we're going to do a light dusting of real Parmesan cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano. And how do you know you're using the real stuff? It costs you like $25 a pound. If it costs like $3 a pound, that's probably not the good stuff. And if you're one of these people that doesn't think there's a big difference between the fake and the real Parmesan, well, you're crazy. But anyway, a nice light dusting of Parmesan. And then on top of that, we're going to spoon over some creme fraiche. And yes, you can use heavy cream for this, but creme fraiche makes it special. Like creme fraiche makes everything special. And by the way, you're not allowed to say you can't find it because I showed you how to make it. I'll give you a link to that video. But anyway, we're going to spoon over our creme fraiche. And then it's time for the first of 2 layers of parsnip. Now, if you want, you could just peel right over the dish and then arrange them, or go ahead and peel off to the side like I am and then place them on. And of course, be careful. Make sure you have a good grip. The last thing you want is a parsnip slip, and you could take a piece of fingernail off with that peeler, so be careful of that. So we're going to go ahead and peel half the parsnips and lay them over the top. And of course, you're arranging and distributing evenly. That just goes without saying, or almost went without saying. And then don't forget, after the parsnips go on, a little pinch of salt for those. Remember, we're seasoning as we go. And at that point, we're going to repeat the process. We're going to put down our second layer of potato, and then all the rest of the ingredients in the same order we just showed you. So some more salt, some more freshly ground black pepper, another scattering of thyme leaves. We're going to make it rain Parmesan again, followed by more creme fraiche. And if you've never used it before, creme fraiche is like a delicious, delicious sour cream that does not break or separate when you cook it. It's fairly magical. And then just like the first layer after the creme fraiche, we're going to go ahead and top with the rest of our peeled parsnips. And of course, like the first layer of parsnips, we're going to give that a little dusting of salt. And then of course, we're going to finish with a potato layer. So slice up that last potato and arrange that over the top beautifully. And if you're keeping score at home, that is 3 layers of potato, 2 layers of parsnip. And once we're done arranging that last potato on top, we'll season that up with a little bit of salt. And then we're going to pour over some chicken broth, about a cup or so. And since I was testing and recording the amount used, I went little by little. So I'm going to pour a little in, I'm going to let it settle. And I'm going to keep going here until I think I have the right amount. And yes, of course, if you're of the vegetarian persuasion, you could certainly use vegetable stock here, whatever that is. And that looks pretty good, so it's almost but not quite up to the top. So let me give it the old shaka, and possibly a very brief old tappa. And then to finish this up, we're going to go ahead and spoon over the last of the creme fraiche without wrecking our beautiful potato shingle design. And then to finish this off, a little dusting of cayenne. It's going to give that top a nice color and a little bit of heat, of course. And then last but not least, a final dusting of Parmesan. I'm going to clean off the edges, and we're going to put that in the center of a 375-degree oven for about 45 minutes to an hour, or until it looks like a beautiful potato and parsnip gratin. Alright, the top should be golden brown and a knife should go in with zero effort. There are very few things more evil than an undercooked potato gratin, so make sure you cook it enough. And if you do, you're going to be looking at one of the great winter side dishes of all time. But really, this would be absolutely delicious all year round. And you go ahead and put that next to some boring roast chicken, an ubiquitous kale side dish, and you actually have something a little special. And like I said at the beginning, parsnips have such a unique and delicious flavor. It's just a shame they're not more popular used in dishes like this. And as you can see, it obviously works wonderfully as a main course side dish, but this is also amazing as a brunch or breakfast potato. Go ahead and picture that with some crisp bacon next to it and a poached egg over the top. Oh yeah, I want that right now. So anyway, if you were looking for a way to get more parsnips in your diet, which I know you weren't, but just for the sake of argument, if you were, I really hope you give this potato gratin with benefits a try soon. So head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.